Good morning, good morning, good morning. A very foul morning here in the south. And I had to go out as well. So I'm glad to be back in the dry and in the warm. Hope you like the footage of or a little bit of footage of my railway trip the other day. I had to take a sabbatical to Dorset. So I took a little bit of footage of our trip out and back. So our last video we gave you a choice of kits, what we was going to build next. Hanomag, a Krupp truck, an Opel Blitz. You all picked the Opel Blitz. Everybody that voted, and I thank you for voting, everybody went for the Opel Blitz. Nobody voted for anything else, which actually the Opel Blitz is what I would have gone for. But I have to tell you, that is not a good kit. Not really. 1994. So what's that make that? 31 years old. Yeah. It's funny how one thing can lead to another, So I was putting this kit together, and I thought, because the figures in this kit, the kit comes with two figures. For me personally, they're unusable. They're awful. They're awful. But I thought, no, not to worry, because I've got a couple of drivers that we painted in the last batch of seated figures. I'll use one of them. Neither of them will fit in the cab, which is a nuisance. They don't give you much room in the cab. But not to worry. I went to the stash pile and I found that guy there. Fits beautifully in the cab. So this kit is really designed for the Schwimmwagen, as you see, or at a push, as they say, inside the Kubelwagen, both of which we have here actually. But anyway, I stopped the truck and I built those four figures, which are not too bad. Just I think occasionally some of the detailing is possibly a little bit soft, but there's our driver, which we'll use for the Opel Blitz. Tank commander. And it's getting to the point where I'm going to have to make a tank before long, because I've already got 3 tank commanders put together. Here's 2 of them on the bench. Now look. Turn around, you. So it's high time, really, getting on, that I should make a tank of some kind. But anyway, be that as it may, that's quite a nice figure. What do I list that figure as? Grenadier leader. Yeah, it's quite a nice figure, that. And we'll do them like that with oak leaf camo, because some of the guys to go in the back of the truck already have oak leaf camo. So I did that. As you can see, I've not been idle, but whilst I was looking in the stash pile, I happened to notice that kit. I thought, oh, that's rather nice. Quite nice figures. There are some issues with this kit, which I shall allude to. Legs, arms and torso, there's some really quite heavy mold lines, really quite severe mold lines, which all have to be got rid of. So that's the first thing. Excuse me for ducking out of the picture a minute. But here's a machine gunner. Pieces are quite a good fit. They're not too bad a fit. I judge these figures these days. When I look at these figures, I judge them by how crisp is the detailing, what are the hands like, and what are the faces like. And with these figures, detailing is really quite nice, quite good. The hands are pretty damn good. And the faces are all different. They're not generic. They're all different. So from that point of view, you're really quite nice. Like I say, some really nasty mold lines to get rid of. Here's the guy firing the machine gun. You'll bear in mind that at least 3 of the hands are separate from the arms, so you've got to bear that in mind. I always tend, when I get pieces like that, I always tend to pin them, drill out the end of the arm and the hand, and put in a little metal pin with some super glue. Because if you're going to be using these for gaming, you don't want the hand to come off. Here's the guy that'll take the machine gun belt. No helmets on them yet, because I'm now of the opinion it's easier to paint the helmet separate than put it on, rather than try painting it under the rim and everything like that. Guy that'll go with the lying down machine gunner has got 2 little cartridges of ammunition. Here's that machine gun. But the real problem came with that guy. Firstly, that ammunition case there The hand is too big to go through the handle, so you have to shave the hand down. But you've got to be careful you don't go too far, and he ends up like Jeremy Beadle with a dwarf hand. But that case there, there's no handle, because the handle on the case is molded onto it flat down as if it's folded down. Yet he's carrying that case, you see it in the picture. Yet they've molded the handle flat down. And also, the hand is solid. Reminds me very much of the Mini Art Milkman, if you remember him. I had to drill out the hands and contrive to make handles for the milk churns. This is a similar thing. So I had to drill the hand out, bend one end of a piece of wire, feed it through the hand, and bend the other end to make a handle. So then on top of the there you go. On top of the ammunition box, I scraped out that flat lying down handle, scraped that away, drilled out 2 holes, and fitted it onto the wire handle that I made. Now he's like he should be. But if you're a novice mod, like I remember going through this thing with the Milkman, Mini Art Milkman. If you're a novice modeler or a young modeler, you're not going to be able to complete that figure successfully. So it's annoying for somebody that's a bit of experience and got the tools to do it. You can sort of do it. It's a bit of a faff to do it, but you can do it. Like it was a faff to do the Milkman, but you can do it. But you know, I don't know why they do things like that. Because for you, like I said, you know, for young people or people just starting out modeling, inexperienced modelers, they're not going to be able to complete that figure as per the box like that. But still quite nice figures when you've done them. You know, level of detailing is good. Hands, faces are good. Loads of options with the kit that they give you. I mean, where's my sprues here? Look. So you can see I've got machine guns I've not used. An ammunition box there that I've not used. On here, look, they give you ordinary helmets or helmets with camouflage covers on. There's rifles there. Binoculars, look. Ammunition pouches. There, look. Stick grenades, you know, potato mashers. A couple of MP40s there. So it's good from that respect. Lots for the spares box, which was pretty much how it went for the Tamiya kit. Lots for the spares box. I mean, even a Panzerfaust. So that's good. But it does annoy me when they do things in such a way as you makes it very difficult to complete the figure as per the box. But anyway, that's how one thing can lead to another, But going back to the Opel truck, I wouldn't recommend this kit. If somebody was to say to me, I'm thinking of making an Opal Blitz in 135 scale. I would say, well, don't go for the Italeri one. Get a Tamiya one, or maybe I think Mini Art do one, Opal Blitz. Try one of them and see how you get on, because this is not great. Like I say, the figures that you get with it, they were horrible. Some of the bits are not the greatest fit, I have to say. But the worst problem with it was the injector pin marks. This kit is absolutely riddled with injector pin marks. Here's the cab. I haven't put the roof on yet because it's got to be sprayed, painted. And then we got to put the driver inside before we can put the roof on. But that's the cab. Here's the subframe. And you can see on these pieces, I think you can just see where I filled some injector pin marks. And on these as well. So that's the subframe with the crankshaft and the exhaust. The worst bit of all was the sort of back of the truck, the little box that goes on the back. Here it is. But I don't know whether you can try and get view where you can see. Yeah, you can see, I think you can see inside there. Injector pin marks that I've filled. Yeah, you can see them in there. And in there. Now I haven't put there's three like boards that go across for people to sit on. I'll put them in when I've painted this and sprayed it. Here you can see that all the pin marks I filled on the bottom. Alright, not so bad I suppose because it's underneath, but even so. I mean, this, once this is complete with its three boards, as I counted at least 60 injector pin marks just in this piece alone. So looking at the other pieces and the cab and whatnot, I would say you got at least 100 plus injector pin marks on this model. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Why there has to be that many? All right, you expect some injector pin marks because it's injection molded, so you expect one or two, and you can put up with one or two. But when you've got like 3 figures worth of injector pin marks, and the thing is absolutely riddled with them, well, as you can see on the bottom of that. So I think it'll look reasonable when we've finished it. I don't think it'll look too bad. And I have to confess, I do have a second one of these kits here. But I wouldn't buy another one of these kits for sure. I'd go for a Tamiya one or maybe Mini Art or something like that, see what that's like. But you know, you live and learn. So that's the next step anyway, is one or two little bits to still to fit. Once I've done that, I'll have a afternoon with the compressor and the airbrush, and I'll prime these figures, get them primed up, ready to go. I'll do that. And then we'll prime this up at the same time. We'll do it all in one go. Saves getting the compressor and the airbrush out on two separate occasions. We'll do it all at, hopefully do it all at one go. But that's where we're at anyway with the Opal Blitz. We have not been idle here. Like I say, we've done all them figures. And greater part of the building for this truck now is done. And hopefully, I'm hoping we can squeeze in all these into the back. There's 9 figures we've got to hopefully squeeze into the back. I think they'll go in. It should look rather good. So I'm going to have a bit of lunch now. And then I might have another go at this truck. Get on a few bits that need finally putting on, and then we can get it sprayed up. Have a go at spraying it. I'm still not 100% confident with the airbrush yet, but the more you use it, the better you get. So yeah, there you go. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for watching as always. Hopefully see you possibly with this truck finished. We'll get it finished and out the way. Yeah, crack on. See you on the next one.